Is it Labor? Call it what you like. Pushback? Is it a full-on revolt that's against their gas strategy after the government unveiled that gas will be used in Australia, despite the fact Labor wants to drastically reduce emissions and do so quicker than the coalition? Labor says it will use gas even beyond 2050 because it is crucial in technologies including battery production. Joining me now, Assistant Minister to the Prime Minister Patrick Gorman and former Liberal MP Jason Falinski. Thanks both for your time. Patrick, do you want to join the pushback? Are you concerned about the gas strategy outlined by Labor?
Well, what I want to see is what all my Labor colleagues want to see, which is that we have less gas in our economy over time, but we do that in a way that is responsible and accepts the reality of where we are here in 2024. We're not starting from the ideal position. We had a decade of inaction, and we've got now a coalition we have to negotiate with who have ridiculous ideas like nuclear power sometime in 2035. What I know here in WA is that when I go down to lithium processing plants here in WA, down in Kemerton, just near Bunbury, those plants now are powered by gas. Now, I hope that we have a world where we have technology that requires that not to be the case. But I'm a realist in recognising that if we want those new energy technologies, those net zero technologies, they come with a carbon requirement at this point in time. Now, but I want to get to that place where
they do right now. You can't make some of those batteries otherwise. So
you can't.
You're the Praetorian Guard. Are you sharpening your spear to make sure the revolt doesn't turn into a revolution?
I recognise that these are complex conversations, and I think my colleagues recognise that too, from the Resources Minister, Madeleine King, through to a range of other Labor MPs. I'm pretty comfortable having that complex conversation because it's the only way we're going to get to the point we want, which is Australia reaching net zero by 2050. And I would note, and I think it's important your viewers recognise, that in the strategy that Minister King released just a couple of days ago, that strategy itself notes that Australia's domestic consumption of gas between now and 2042 could decrease by up to 72%. Now, I want to meet and beat that target, but I also want to make sure that we do have a mature conversation about the big economic transformation to net zero. It is complex, and we've got to make complex decisions to get there.
This must be getting serious within Labor because Patrick is not deviating here. He's very serious today, so I'm just noting that. Jason's smiling. No, he's not even MP anymore. He can relax, although you're in the bunker, aren't you, Jason? This is one of the critical anti-teal policies, isn't it, that you're going to get them on? You're going to say they're against gas, they're not realistic. Are you sort of rubbing your hands together at the teal reaction to this? They're pretty critical of Labor.
Yeah, well, the teals have come out punching, but of course, Tom, one of the problems that the teals have is that they voted for the greatest fossil fuel subsidy package in the history of the Australian Federation, which they handed over to the most profitable coal companies in the world. There's not a lot that's complex about this at all, and Patrick knows that. The fact is that since this government got elected, emissions have gone up, not down. Under the previous government, emissions went down 21%. Subsidies to the most profitable coal companies in the world are now close to $3 billion, or are headed towards $3 billion. The IEA says that if we want to get to net zero by 2050, that we need to triple the amount of nuclear power that we have in the world at the moment. And it also says that gas is a transitional energy source. What Anthony Albanese had to do this week was admit that he has been mugged by reality and that we do need gas in the short term. But everything that Labor, the Greens and the Teals are doing at the moment is making electricity more expensive, is putting emissions up, and is making it more difficult for us to get to net zero by 2050.